What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing very well. My name is Salem Soni. Welcome to the YouTube channel. This is going to be a special video, and I'm even going to switch up the introduction a little bit just for the purpose of the video. So I'm going to be walking. It's going to be a different style than more of the sitting videos, but also I think that is going to play a role also to the content being discussed in this particular video. Before doing the switch to what I'm doing currently in terms of my style of videos that I do, there was actually something quite interesting in terms of the decision that was made for the video, the way I decided to do it, right? So one of the things that I decided to do was to focus more on entrepreneurship, on business, on life skills, but in the midst of that, I sacrifice talking about other topics just for the sake of congruency. Because I'm a big believer of, like, sometimes you just need some things that are, how can I put this, that are well said, you know what I mean, in a manner that is, there's some consistency, right? You can't just be all over the place. You have to have a language that makes sense, talking to people and stuff like that. So that is to kind of give you a little bit of the perspective of why we did the change for the channel. That being said, I wanted to say thanks to a good old friend of mine. Her name is Ama. She has a YouTube channel called VWV Rain on YouTube. I will encourage you. I'll put the link in the description. But I just want to say thank you to Ama because she inspired this video. She inspired me talking about this particular topic. This has to do with Africa. I'm African. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. As a millennial today, I want to talk about some of the reality facing, like, millennials and African millennials living in America or living outside of Africa who are part of the diaspora. These are some things that I've addressed in the past, but I've kind of stopped talking about it due to focusing on more things like specific to entrepreneurship, business, things of that sort. So that being said, I just want to say thank you, Alma, for inspiring this video. You really did a great job on your video about, talking to African millennials on the eve of the Ghanaian Independence Day. Hello. So that was kind of a good thing to see that perspective. So your video inspired this video. And so this video is going to be about talking about the perspective of being an African millennial living in America today, about how sometimes we forget about our homeland because we are in the search for success. We are in the search for trying to make it. We're in the search trying to have a nice, convenient life. And ironically enough, the place that we're running away from, or sometimes the place that we're looking down upon, others have found the same success. We've almost sacrificed everything to look for somewhere else, right? Like, what do I mean by that? Like, be more clear, Salem. Like, let me just say it this way. Some of us, and this video is addressed to millennials. The same thing that Emma said, right? I think that audience, maybe some of you guys don't know her, so you may not hear her, but I think you might listen to me because you might know me. But I think that audience is a very similar audience, which we're talking to millennials, right? Not like people my parents' age or my uncle's age or my grandparents' age, but people like that are my age. So those are the individuals that I'm addressing in this particular, millennials, right? Basically 40 and under, people who are, I believe, the next leaders of tomorrow. They're part of, like, that future next wave of leaders of Africa, of creators, of innovators, of people who really truly have in their hands the potential to really change a lot of great things for Africa. So those are the people that I'm addressing. Wherever you might find this yourself in the world, if you speak English and you understand this video, this video is for you. I really truly believe that we have a potential that is so tremendous that to disregard the potential is an insult to ourselves, to our future generation. So let me get to it. It's ironic how at the pursuit of what we believe was success, we've let go of so many things, right? At the pursuit of what we believe was trying to make it, trying to have all these different things in life, we'd let go of so many different things, such as the right to look at our own motherland as a place for success, as a place for achieving some level of consistency, achieving a level of like middle class. Like, let me give you an example that's practical. So many of our brothers and sisters who are from Africa, no matter where you're from, Nigeria, Congo, Ghana, South Africa, Tunisia, Egypt, I'm not discriminating to any country. This is just a generalization, and I'm speaking mainly from Africa because I'm African, right? So you might watch this and you're African. This is not against you. This is just for my people because I'm from there, so I can relate to this message much easier. Ironically, like, I've seen from my parents, my uncles, my aunties, they've left, sometime due to not their own desires. Maybe they were forced out. Maybe conditions, were not suitable for them to stay. So they were forced to kind of come to these different places. And because of that, they sacrificed everything, right? Some of them give up their jobs so that they can come over here and struggle, work 9 to 5, $7 an hour, 8 hours an hour, $10 an hour. They lost the respect of some people. I mean, imagine you in Africa, you're at a decent life, you were respected, a member of the community. Now you come here and people make fun of you, they laugh at you, they look at you down. Like, all these different things play a role into how one feels, how one is perceived. See, all these different things, they add up, right, to our perception, to the parents' perception. The crazy part is that throughout all that, there's this slender hope that one day you can go back to Africa and go back to your home, to the place that is really yours, where you're not going to be laughed at, and you're not make fun of you. They're not going to say, oh, you have an accent. They're not going to say something like, oh, you don't belong here. That has always been the hope of our parents, right? And they've struggled for that. The funny part is that our generation of millennials, we're not settling for just that, of just the $8 an hour. We want to go for the big job. So we're going to get the degrees. You got the masters, you got the bachelor, the master degree. Some of us go ahead and get PhDs and even higher education than that. Some of us go and try to strive for corporate jobs, and we want to go work, Silicon Valley, like Emma said in her job. Some of us, you work at Google, you work at Amazon, you work with Tesla, you work for these big things. I know people who've come from Congo who work at NASA, like, you know what I mean? Like, people who really work at these big things. But the problem is, you've made it, but yet you always look down at the country where you're from. And ironically enough, like, this very same country where you're from, like, some of the people are running there because they're making success over there. They're making success over there. It's funny, I'm seeing a Berkshire Hathaway sign over here on the door, and it got me thinking, did you know that Berkshire Hathaway, like the son of Warren Buffett, this is the company owned by Warren Buffett, a lot of multi-billionaires are going back to Africa trying to make a name for themselves in places like Africa. Why Africa, you might ask yourself? Well, because Africa is so full of potential. Out of any places on earth, Africa, in the words of Emma, I love how she said, it's still a blank canvas. Africa still has to be painted on, has to still be shaped, modeled, has to it's still waiting on who are these next leaders who are going to have the courage to mold something out of nothing. Where are they? Like, where are you guys? Where are we? Why am I even talking to you? Like, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, what am I doing sometime? Right? Trust me, I still have a great heart for Africa and big plans for it. So I'm not sleeping, I can tell you that right now. But I think it's still important for us to give this message that some of us need to hear. Like, we've been distracted for too long trying to do something that is going to appease a certain group of people, or is just going to look good because of our background or our big degrees and stuff like that. Like, some of the things you've been waiting on, like, your country back home has it, right? Like, I'm not asking you to be the savior. Like, what Emma says is right. Like, Africa doesn't need saviors. Africa needs doers. Africa needs people who are not going to be corrupt. Africa needs people who are going to actually be truthful, be trustworthy, be taking the mental of justice of the few things you've learned here, of the basics you can bring back home. Can you do it? Can you do it? Or are you going to be another person, like the great line in the movie Black Panther? Are you not going to be another colonizer as well? Oh, hold on. 1 2 1 2. All right, my mic was tripping there, started falling on me here. Yeah, this is live, man. I'm not even gonna edit this out so you guys can see, like, cause I don't know, I'm passionate about this. I was like, I'm gonna walk this out. I don't even feel like sitting down in my office trying to shoot this. I'm like, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna just be heart to heart walking right now, so you guys can kind of hear my mind. Like honestly, I don't know what to say, right? Like, I feel like we've come to a time where, honestly, as millennials, we have to decide, like, the potential in Africa for us to really be able to achieve the success that we're looking for is so huge, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm at a residential area right now, nice homes, you get the white picket fence, the 3-4 bedroom home, nice mortgage, all that is nice. But what the potential we can accomplish with Africa, with all the basically the bare land that there is over there, the potential of what you can be able to create and stuff. And I'm like, what are we doing here sometime? Like, you know what I mean? Are we just going to be being in circle for so long? Or are we actually planning to do something that's going to be like actually tangible? Actually, we're going to bring like genuine change. So that's the mindset that I think I want to be able to share with you guys today. Like, are we going to do actually something that is actually going to make a difference, or are we just going to be able to settle for something that is nice? Like, I'm in Florida, right? And I decided to move in Florida, and you guys saw the move. I used to live in Pennsylvania. It was cold. I'll put maybe a video here so you guys can see some of the times we had to deal with the snow and stuff. So I'm not somebody who lived in warm areas while I've been in the States. I come from Africa. It was warm over there. We struggled. I went to Penn State. I mean, when it snows over there, it pours. I mean, it's crazy. We still went to school, like 2 feet of snow. You still got to go to school. Like I know what it means sometimes to struggle. And even the corporate jobs, like sometimes they make fun of you, some of the different things you have to do. There's all these different things, the responsibility. Like, it's really interesting. Check out this Chihuahua. Hey, buddy. There's a cute little doggy there. You see everything here. But the reason why I find that quite interesting is the perspective of, like, some of us, because, we just want to have the nice dog who's over there. Hello. You have, you want the fancy dog, or you want just the nice little home. Like, we've sacrificed so much for just the few little thing that the world has promised, that, oh yeah, that's good enough for you to have as an African. And I'm saying, no, that's not good enough. Like, we can have more. And I'm not saying that we have to be greedy. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be greedy in what you want. All I'm saying is go for the things that you actually are worthy of, of the things you sacrifice, of your potential. Africans in Africa, we have so much potential, but some of us, we live short of the potential that we do have. Why is that? Right? Why is that? That's what I'm saying. Like, why is that? If there's so much things we can do and we're still living short of the potential that we have, why is that? So this is a wake-up call to wherever you might find yourself, whether you're in the States, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Australia or China and you're a son of Africa. I'm coming at you. I'm coming to waken you up and say, hey, listen, your land needs you. Your place needs you. Your parents need you. Your cousin needs you. Some of the people you've left back, and some of them, we don't even want to think about it, because we know that we can bring some change. We can even be a big change agent to some of the people who left back home, but we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to talk about it because you don't want to be seeming like you're indifferent. But are you? Are we? Right? Let that be something that's a wake-up call for us. The potential for your success is so huge in Africa. And that's why I'm even taking a bigger step right now. If it's, sometimes it's some foolishness in terms of governments that are hindering us from actually going back. But if we can go back, let's do it. Now is the time. There's never going to be a better time. There's never going to be like, oh, now this is the time to do it. If now is the time to do it, let's take action now. Sons and daughters of Africa, millennials all over the place. I don't want to sound like some old grandpa talking to you guys now, like... It reminded me when I was at Penn State as part of the African Student Association. They used to call me Uncle Salem because apparently I was usually act like much older than my age and other people in the group. But the point I'm trying to say is that now is the time for us millennials to rise up and to decide, okay, we're not just going to sit on the side and let other people enjoy and take the wealth of our nation. And I'm not even talking about that. I think Africa is so much that the world will still need us, right? The problem is sometimes we are the one actually losing because we're letting others coming and take advantage of what we can offer without even ourselves enjoying it, because we think that the grass is always greener on the other side and enjoying. I can guarantee you, look, that it's not that green. It's not that green, right? So there's so much Africa has, and to me, it's even a wake-up call. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like, I feel like I've been not trying to chase the dream or the American dream or something. Like, I think if you live long enough in America, it's been 12 years, going on 13 years I've been here, you wake up after a while and be like, oh, this is not as I always thought. Some part of this is kind of a nightmare, but it's a dream for those who actually stop falling asleep and wake up and go get it, and then realize that I can go even bring it some of the knowledge that I have back home and even create more success there, right? So I'm not talking to the older parents who have a lot more to lose. I'm talking about for some of you guys who can grind, some of you guys who can see potential. I can guarantee you, Africa is a place you can make way more money, you can have way more opportunities, you can have way more fun, you can enjoy way more things in Africa than some of the places you might be. If you think I'm lying, trust me. Just take a trip. Just go back and enjoy just the journey back home. Like, every time, I remember when I went to Nigeria after 10 years of being away from Africa. I landed there. I was like, my God, people are stress-free here. You know what it means to be stress-free? You walk around debt-free. Maybe not stress-free, debt-free. That was the biggest thing. Like, after you've graduated, you have all the student loans. Trust me, it's a different world when you walk around there and you see people that might have a less financial situation that you might not feel as well off. But somebody walking around that is debt-free, man, beats anybody who you might be making six figures and you have about $200,000 of student loans because of that law degree that you want to get. Right? So I'm not saying that the law degree is not nothing, but what's the point of getting a law degree and then working as a paralegal for the next 5 years? What's the point of you going to med school and now you have to work at a gas station because the area is saturated? What's the point of you trying to go for, I don't know, an art major at a major university? Now you're like $60,000 in debt, but you don't find the job because they're not looking for your position, or you don't have the right experience. But you're still looking down on Africa, where there are people who don't have degrees, don't have any even desire to try to implement and bring quality stuff to Africa, going over there and becoming millionaires? Like, are we serious? Listen, I promised myself I would not get rattled in this video, but this is just emotional. This is just something that is true. This is something that's just raw from the heart, and I wanted to share with you guys. It's time for us to wake up, Africa. It's time for us, millennials especially. It's time for us to rise, because this is our time. I believe that we live in the greatest time where Africa, we need to really go to the next level. The reason I stopped here, there's great lighting. So for you guys wondering, why is it not moving anymore? This is great lighting here. And I would just want to finish the video by saying, now is the time for us to rise, to do what we need to do for us to get to the next level. Now is the time. Start thinking of your motherland as a place where you can still make great change. It doesn't mean that you'll have, some of us don't want to move back over there and live. I mean, I get it, right? Some of you guys will be like, well, it's cool that you're all like for Africa, but I want to live over there. You don't have to live over there to do business there. You don't have to live over there to bring change there. You don't have to live over there to bring something that can do something of great that is there. So think about that. The potential for real change in Africa is, the time over is now. It's time for us to wake up and rise, right? And the great words of what we saw with Black Panther, and when I saw the movie, just seeing the futuristic of what Africa could be, I'm like, that's what we need to do. Like, you saw that thing where they were showing Wakanda and stuff? Yeah, I know that was Marvel, that was imaginary, but Wakanda can be a reality if we rise and make it so. And this is both to not just those in the diaspora, even for those of you guys who are watching me and you're in Africa right now. To you I'm speaking. You, the Wakanda, the movie, it can be a reality. We have the potential to do it. Africa has so much resources. Forget the natural resources that everybody wants to fight over. You, as an African, are the resource. Whether you are in Africa or abroad, you are the resource. You can bring a real change to this motherland. Now is your time. Listen, that's all for me, man. I don't want this video to be too long. It's almost 20 minutes. I gotta be out of here. But remember, we are the change that we're seeking. We can make this land something so that the generation after us will building generational wealth, so that the kids, I want to make sure that when I'm dead, the kids that'll come after us and be like, Grandpa did something great. He lived on purpose and he left a legacy worth following. Man, that's all for me. Always remember, you're God's very best. I'm out of here. See you guys next time. Take care.